Hello everybody, FAI here, or I here, and welcome back to another accureye talk sale. And in today's accureye talk sale, we will be talking about, how to get better on Fortnite. Because, let's face it, some of you are probably, thinking, how did you get better on Fortnite? Because, I've been trying to get better on Fortnite, and I still can't figure it out. Well, let's just go to the short answer. Just keep playing the game, right? And you'll get better in time. Well, that's the short answer that a lot of players will probably give you. But in the end, let's just put it this way. By doing that short answer and just playing the game and getting better over time, you will probably just get frustrated and want to give up at some point in time. So, while playing the game will make you better over time, obviously you want to work on something that can get you better in a controlled state of mind, and something that can just give you a better controlled state of mind to get better in. Because in the 3 months or more that I've been playing Fortnite regularly since my return on chapter 2 season 1, which was my actual return to the game. I've been playing the game regularly, just practicing in creative mode and just trying to get better at doing stuff like building, weapon aim practice and whatnot. And I'll show you all that off at the end of near the end of this video. I will show you all that, just so that you can get a slight idea of my training regimen and what I do normally during training. But yeah, and use creative mode to basically get better. And I'll show you a few of the maps that I've been doing regularly as a creative training. But in the case of getting better, while playing the game will get you better over time because you will be practicing on the current map of the season. Going into a controlled environment like, creative mode where you can do building and stuff, editing and stuff, and then just practicing your snap aiming and whatnot, that will make you a overall better player in general. And because that will make you an overall better player in general, it's something that you should consider. Because, again, like it is, you're not going to get better just by playing the game all the time. You will eventually, but let's face it, by only playing the game all the time, you will probably get yourself eventually frustrated to the point where it's just going to not become something that you want to do. So, instead of frustrating yourself by just playing the game all the time and hoping that you will get better or you will learn a little bit more, you've got to learn the basic steps first and foremost. And let's face it, I'll talk about the basic steps and stuff to get better in first and foremost in time, and in a future video that's coming probably very soon. That'll be coming probably very soon. But you have to realize that it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of time to build your game sense and stuff like that. But first and foremost, using controlled environments is probably the best way to basically get better at the game. If you're not using a controlled environment, it's going to be hard to get better at the game and know what you're doing wrong and what you need to work on. Because again, a lot of players don't know what to work on. A lot of players are going to get into the game and all of a sudden go like, I can't play the game. I'm so frustrated at the game. I'm not doing well. What am I doing wrong? Well, first and foremost, one of the main things you're probably doing wrong is you're not building. That's the main mistake everyone makes in the beginning of this game. That's one of the first few mistakes that many players will make in this game, is that they're not building. And because they're not building, they're ending up, getting into a point where it's just frustrating them. It's just not doing, they're just not doing well. They're not having, something work out for them. And, of course, it does happen. That's why I suggest you of course practice building. You of course practice in general doing some actual, practicing with your builds, practicing what you're doing, getting used to editing and stuff. Because again, editing is part of the main way of getting better at this game. And, part of the main focus at getting better at this game is, of course, to work on your edits and stuff. Work on, working on edits. Now, there, of course, you saw me kind of get into a box fight, and I made a mistake just not, not having the right weapon now, which does happen from time to time. But that's another thing, is making things become second nature for you. You want things to become second nature for you. You want things to be better overall, to getting, to the point where you can basically, make your battlefields a lot easier and things a lot more to the point where you can control the battlefield. Because again, that's something that a lot of players are not going to be used to, is editing or building and doing all these little things. I mean, a lot of them, it's kind of get into a 50-50 and hope for the best, instead of kind of going like, oh, I shouldn't get into a 50-50 and I should look to getting an advantage or something. I mean, you'll see this at the very beginning here of this next match, before we move on to like some of the little things that I want to talk about to getting better, is how I can, pressure and, deal with pressure on opponents in other situations that, most players probably wouldn't be used to. But, again, that's just something that you gotta get used to over time. One of the main things is learning to first edit and build. I mean, if you're not learning to edit and build, you're going to have a hard time in Fortnite no matter what. And if that's the case, where you're having a hard time not utilizing building or whatever, then you probably should think about playing other games like Call of Duty. Because again, Fortnite, one of the main mechanics that made Fortnite so good, and in many ways, is the fact that, building is crucial to making a good play or making yourself better. I mean, you can't just, in general, get into a game like Fortnite and think, oh, well, building doesn't seem like it's that necessary. No, building is absolutely crucial to making strides in the game. Even if you don't think so. Even in Apex Legends, there's some mechanics that I don't fully understand that are crucial to making the game better. Now, obviously, I'm not a main Apex Legends player. I really don't like playing Apex Legends for the factor of that it has other mechanics like team syringing, like teams that work well, characters that work well with other characters. You've got the mechanic of having to work with your team and having things work out, to where your team is working well with, that certain character, and your team can work well with these certain play styles and whatnot. So, again, that's just something else that, you gotta think about over time. But, let's talk about, like, the building mechanics and stuff. Like, this is where mechanics are going to really come into crucial play. Like, these first few attacks, it was kind of just a matter of me getting a good drop on those two. But, but again, it's like, you gotta have it to where your mechanics are crucial into making the game work for you. I mean, obviously, if you're not learning to build and you're not learning to gather up materials and stuff, you're going to have a hard time in this game. It's absolutely crucial that you learn to build and, and of course, do these certain mechanics that are going to help you with, focusing on, getting better. Because again, like I said, it's going to happen where if you're not building or whatever, you're going to have a hard time just not, being able to, sustain yourself and, do these things. Now, of course, those first few attacks, my building was not on par because they were just basically rushing. But, at the end of the day, sometimes it happens like that where you just don't have time to build. But, that's something that comes in time, is assessing the situation, knowing your angles, knowing, like, exactly what you need to do, how you need to react, and, what should potentially happen. Because, again, the game plan should always have some crucial aspect to understanding what you can do and how you can, make yourself better overall. This is partly how you improve in the game. Like, gathering materials and stuff is absolutely crucial if you want to survive and make success in this game. Because as I pointed out earlier on, you want to learn how to build. You want to know how to do these building mechanics. Obviously, like, building in this game is going to be absolutely crucial to making smart choices and just in general making your gameplay better. I mean, like right there, you kind of see me build up a little, and this is exactly absolutely crucial to making your game, your gameplay, much better overall, and making how you play the game better, like just in general, you have to know how to do these things in order to really realistically be effective on the game, like, because if you're not effective on the game, then obviously you're going to have some trouble, and it does happen. Some players will have trouble with this game, especially going forward, when they run into these situations where it's like all of a sudden they don't know how to react or whatever, it does happen. And, here, even like so, I'm going to basically, box up a little bit and so I can heal and not be worried about an attack or anything. I mean, that is crucial to making your game play, better. It's all about, like, knowing what you gotta do, decision-wise. In some cases, there are things that you gotta do that'll make your gameplay much better. And in other cases, there are things that'll make it much harder for you to realistically be effective. But, in general, you've just gotta know how to react to certain situations. Like there, you can see how, I'm going to have certain situations and certain things that I'm going to react to, certain ways that I'm going to play the game. But in general, a lot of it is basically, learning how to build and learning how to do these certain little things. Like, now here, of course, I really got attacked by a lot of merm people, and, merm people are kind of the new aspect of the game. It's going to happen where you're going to find these merms, and these merms that want to attack you, so, be aware of these people that come. They're kind of like a third party, a CPU third party that are going to make your life a heck of a lot more difficult in some cases. So, if you get attacked by these people, just be ready to take them down if you see them, because again, they're going to just make your life like heck, because they will track you as long as they want, and they will continue to push you and, put you into bad situations if you're not paying attention. So, but yeah, that's just something that you gotta learn to recognize when it comes to, playing the game, is like how to react to these certain situations. How do we get better? How do we build off these situations and whatnot? And in some cases, that's the main thing you've got to learn to utilize, is how to build off these situations. How do I get better? How do I, protect myself in a way? So yeah, that's pretty much part of the thing. Now, how do you get better in the controlled environment? How do you put yourself into a controlled environment? What do you do? Well, before you ever start up a game, I would recommend you start up with some training, some warm-ups in a controlled environment where you can basically, focus on your edits, focus on your building, focus on your shots. This is the first thing that many players do not do when they first get started in any FPS game, is they don't get started by finding a training regimen that works for them, finding something that just basically gives them a warm-up of sorts, and a way to basically, if you would, control your environment where you're not under pressure, you're just it's just kind of a, if you will, relaxing to build your situational awareness, build your things that will make it a little bit easier to understand the tactics that are involved, the things that are involved. Now, of course, situational awareness like that, where I was building very, very quickly and stuff, that comes in time. That comes when you are building or practicing in the game. But, you've got to first of all know how to do those things, like building those walls really quickly. If you haven't already put on turbo building, I would highly recommend putting on turbo building, because turbo building will allow you to do those quick builds, and just like where you saw me all of a sudden put up 2 walls really, really quickly, like side by side. That's just something that comes with turbo building. But, how do you get used to those situations? Well, let's go ahead and flip it over to when I am starting to practice those things, and I'll show you a few of those edits and stuff, and some of my training regimen, which, I will talk about more when I get into, of course, into that future video talking about my warm-up and training regimen that I've been doing for the last 3 months. But, yeah. For now, let's go ahead and flip over to the future when I am showing partly that training regimen that I do to warm up before I start up any game in Fortnite. So yeah, let's go ahead and switch over to creative mode, or at least get back to the main menu, everybody. Alright, so here we are back in creative mode, and this is where I'm going to be talking about how to get better. Now, part of these maps you've already probably seen me show off in a past video about these maps, but these have been my regular training maps going forward with my regiment to getting better at the game. Now, again, I practice these almost every day before I even get started in the game, and some of these may be more regularly than others, but, I practice most of these regularly every single day before I even get started, because, it's a good way to get your aim going, making things muscle memory-like, and just, in general, making it easier for you to basically play the game. Now, again, you're going to see me go through only a little bit of this Kanduk aim all skill edit course, and that's because I feel that it's just not necessary for me to show you it all right now. I will show you my normal training regimen as well as maybe a little bit more going forward, but at the end of the day, it's just a matter of, this isn't my normal training, and, I will go through this pretty quickly. You're going to see me go through this really quick and in general, and, this isn't, just how I normally edit. It may take you a little bit more time to get into a point where you're going to be editing like me, to say the very least, maybe even editing better than me, but, to get into it, you just gotta practice. Just take, like, the Kanduk all skill training edit course, and just get into practicing the edits, doing these normal buildings and stuff. And like I said, this is with turbo building on. You're going to see that I have turbo building on, so it's going to be very, very quick, easy for me to do some of these buildings and edits. And, that's just how you can get better at being a better builder. Now, I mean, of course, in time, it will take time to be there. As you saw there, I got it done with 4 minutes and 1 second still to spare. So that was gold timing. But, again, it's going to take time to get to that point where you can just, make this boom, 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 boom very, very quick. And, you're going to see me here do some of the Kanduk's 9-in-1 edit course, which, again, is another great edit course made by Can Do Okay, or Can Do Okay, as his name is. I think that's how you pronounce his name, is Can Do Okay. But, it's like, you can do this. It's just a matter of taking the time to really every day before you even start a normal game, just get into a warm-up. And if you need a break between your frustrated and stuff, if you need a break or something, just go into a controlled environment and work on these edits, work on the things like this. And here I'll restart because I kind of messed up and I just felt a little sloppy on it. So and then the second time I took a take 2 on this, I did a little sloppy as well. But at the end of the day, just you gotta remember that it's going to take time. It's going to be something that won't come, like right off the bat. I mean, let's face it. Nothing comes right off the bat. It took me a little more than 3 months to get to the point where I am now. And it's going to take me even more time to get to where someone like Ninja may be, someone like someone like Benji Fishy will be. So it's like it's easy to give up, but don't give up on just doing what you're doing. I mean, this wasn't my greatest showcase of my warm up and doing this edit course, but at the end of the day, you've got to realize that it does take some time to do these edits. It does take some time to get even remotely to where I am in editing and stuff. I mean, this is where I got a little sloppy, but like I said, even I still make mistakes every once in a while when I'm doing these edit courses. But that's part of the process to learning how to do these things, how to work on your edits and whatnot. And this is part of my normal regiment when it comes down to just before I get started on a game. I do this as a warm-up. I just kind of go into this environment and go, okay, let's just try to improve our time. Let's try to get through this as quickly as we can and hopefully get gold. Hopefully get gold or something on the timing. And in this case, we got a little sluggish and we got the slow time, but that's just how it works. Is you gotta make this all muscle memory, and once you've made it muscle memory, it becomes so much easier to do all the edits on under pressure on game when you're under pressure and stuff. Like right now, I'm not under pressure, so so of course I have all the time to work on these edits as I can. But when I'm under pressure, I have to remember. Or I have to make it, okay, how fast can I edit this? And, in this case, I'm not going to worry too much about the full edits. But, yeah, you get the idea. And that's just how it works, you got to work on it over time. It will become more and more predominant. And, you will get better at it. Once you focused a little bit on the edits and stuff, once you've gotten to the point where you're happy with edits and whatnot, you can do this. It's going to be much easier. It's going to be much more predominant to have all these edits go exactly in one shot. And, you will be faster at it, but it takes time. Anyway, let's move on to the second part of the training regimen that I normally do on this game for those of you who are interested in learning a little bit more of how I train and how I get better. Alright, so here we are moving on back into the hub of the creative mode, and this is kind of the second part of my my practice for warming up and stuff, which is aiming. Aiming is something that a lot of players will have trouble with, and a lot of players are going to go, well, isn't my aim going to become better over time if I just practice? And yeah, it could become better over time just by playing the game, but by going into a controlled environment like with Tile Frenzy and stuff, which you'll see me do here, it's going to be much easier for you to work on your flick shots, you work on your controlled shots, and just try to get better at hitting targets. I mean, a lot of what I've been practicing has just been hitting targets on, Kovacs, or even just taking time on, like, this course made by Novax or Novos that was shown off by Novos training. This is just how you can get better, is by working on, these hit the targets, hit 9-in-1 targets or whatever. Just work on the training of shooting, and you don't even have to get 60, 70, 80, or however many you could potentially want to get on shooting courses. In the beginning, you just want to practice your shots. You want to just practice working on your aim, practice getting your shots down in like Tile Frenzy and stuff. Because again, that's just how it works. Like even in even like in this vertical frenzy, this is all about verticality, working on your vertical shots and working on when someone's in higher ground than you or lower ground than you, how do you react to this shot? How do you focus on these shots, and how do you get yourself better to where you can, basically make it to where these shots don't phase you. And again, that's part of the regimen, is learning how to make it to where these like different types of height and whatnot don't phase you at all. So again, work on the verticality, work on your shots, and work on trying to, just get better at, focusing in your, training, if you will. Obviously, it's not always going to be easy. It's never going to always be something that you can do right off the bat. It's going to take time. I mean, aim training is part of the, if you will, aim training is part of the regiment to getting better. Especially like with slide shots and whatnot, you guys can see like bounce shots and these 9-1 targets. It's all about like these 9-1 targets, they're all going to be bouncing everywhere. You just gotta focus on trying to, get the shots off and, do what you can do. It's going to take time. It's going to be hard at first, and it's going to take a while. But once you get used to the verticality and stuff, once you get used to, like tracking targets and whatnot, especially once you have a sensitivity that works for you, a perfect sensitivity that works for you, then, it's going to work in time. But with that being said, you guys got a little bit of a taste of what I do. The second part is just another, way to help with your aim training and stuff. So, yeah, with that having been said and stuff, and with that being said, thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button, get subscribed, hit the bell notification, because I know you want to know when my next video drops next. Thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. And, yeah, I am live on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/FA_EYE or I am live on, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday for sure. Wednesday and Saturday, usually I'm live for about 4 to 5 hours. Sometimes a little bit later. Thursdays, I'm usually live for about 2 to 3 hours. And Monday and Tuesday, I'm also usually live for about 2 to 3 hours after I've done my recordings and stuff for YouTube and whatnot. But yeah, with that being said, you guys kind of get the idea of my warm-up regimen. And these are my tips and thoughts on how to get better. Or my tips on how to get better in Fortnite, especially if you are having trouble getting better. I mean, it's going to take a long time to really get to the point where you're seeing results like Ninja. You're seeing results at all. And a lot of it is just learning your situational awareness, getting better at awareness and whatnot. But with that being said, I mean, thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching. Like I said, you can join me live on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/FA_EYE or I. I'm live on Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday for sure. Wednesdays and Saturdays, like I said before, are 4 to 5 hour streams, usually, sometimes a little bit longer. Thursdays are usually 2 to 3 hour streams, and Monday and Tuesdays are usually also 2 to 3 hour streams. But with that being said, thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. And until the next one, everybody, this is FAI or I, signing out and saying, farewell, everyone.